You wake slowly, the warmth of the fire gently tugging you from sleep. Around you, the soft rustle of blankets and the faint breathing of your family fill the longhouse. The air is cool but not biting, scented faintly with smoke and dried herbs hung from the rafters. Outside, the world is quiet and white. Snow has fallen through the night, muffling sounds and blanketing the village in soft silence. The wooden walls of your home creak gently as the cold wind brushes over them. You rise carefully from your bedding, a simple pallet of wool and fur, and stretch your arms, feeling the cold nipping at your skin. Your feet find the rough wooden floor, and you step lightly around the sleeping shapes of your kin. The fire burns low, glowing orange embers scattered across the hearth. A small pot simmers quietly, releasing the faint aroma of dried berries and barley. As the pale winter sun begins to filter through the smoke-darkened window, you prepare for the day ahead. You pull on thick woolen layers, wrapping yourself in the cloak that your mother wove last summer. Outside, your breath forms small clouds in the air as you step into the snow. The village is peaceful, with smoke rising in gentle columns from other longhouses, and the fjord frozen at the edges like a vast, shimmering mirror. You make your way to the goat pen first, the wooden fence dusted with frost. The goats huddle together, their breath visible in the cold air. You scatter hay carefully, watching them nudge and bleat softly. Nearby, the smokehouse hangs heavy with the scent of curing fish, its roof blanketed in snow. A neighbor waves silently as you pass, their face bright against the gray winter sky. Returning to your home, you gather kindling from the woodpile, careful not to disturb the snow that clings to the logs. The sound of the crunching snow beneath your boots is crisp and steady, a rhythmic comfort in the stillness. Back inside, the fire is stoked, and warmth begins to fill the room once more. You settle near the hearth as your mother ladles thick barley stew into wooden bowls. The stew is simple but nourishing, its warmth spreading through you with every bite. As you eat, the family shares quiet conversation, stories of hunts and distant relatives, the soft laughter of children, the gentle creak of wood as the house settles. After the meal, you help your father mend a fishing net by the fire, fingers nimble despite the cold. The rhythmic weaving is soothing, the flickering light casting dancing shadows on the walls. Outside, the afternoon sun lingers low, and the snow begins to fall again, soft, silent flakes that settle on the windowsill and the roofs beyond. You take a moment to gaze outside, the peaceful scene a reminder of the harsh beauty of winter in the north. The morning light grows slowly, pale and soft, filtering through the smoke-darkened window. You step outside once more, the cold air crisp against your cheeks, your breath curling like mist. The snow crunches gently beneath your boots as you make your way toward the animal pens. The goats huddle together, their breath warm and visible in the frosty air. You scatter fresh hay for them, the dry stalks rustling softly. Nearby, the chickens cluck quietly, their feathers fluffed against the chill. You pause to listen. The village is waking up in small, careful sounds. Distant footsteps crunch on packed snow, and the faint murmur of neighbors greeting one another. There are no loud calls, only soft nods and smiles exchanged, as the cold keeps everyone moving steadily but quietly. You pass by wooden homes, their turf roofs dusted with snow. Smoke rises steadily from chimneys, curling and twisting in the still morning air. Icicles hang like fragile crystals from eaves, catching the pale sunlight. The village paths are narrow and worn, lined with wooden fences and simple carts. You see a neighbor carrying firewood, his breath steady as he moves toward his home. Another tends to a small fire pit outside, preparing to warm water for the midday meal. Your footsteps lead you toward the frozen fjord at the village's edge. The ice glitters faintly, like a sheet of glass stretched across the water. Fishing boats rest tied to wooden posts, their sails furled against the winter storms. The landscape is quiet, vast and cold, but there is a deep, steady pulse of life beneath the snow. Trees stand tall, heavy with snow, their branches creaking softly in the wind. A distant raven caws once, breaking the stillness, then silence returns. You take a moment to breathe in the fresh, cold air, feeling the sharp clarity that comes with the morning. The village is simple but full of careful routines and quiet strength. With your tasks for the morning complete, you begin to return home. The crunch of snow beneath your boots is steady and soothing. You think of the warmth of the hearth waiting for you, the smells of cooking, the soft voices of your family. And so the day moves forward, gentle and slow, wrapped in the calm embrace of winter. The pale winter sun reaches its highest point, casting soft light through the narrow windows of your longhouse. Inside, the warmth from the hearth embraces you like a gentle blanket, pushing back the cold that lingers at the edges. You begin preparations for the midday meal, moving slowly and deliberately. The fire crackles as you arrange dry kindling and add small branches, coaxing the flames to life. A heavy pot, blackened from many winters of use, sits atop the hearth, waiting for your care. You gather simple ingredients: barley grain, dried fish, root vegetables stored carefully in the cool cellar. The barley is coarse and nutty, a staple that fills the belly with slow, steady energy. The fish, cured over smoke for many days, gives the meal a salty richness. As the stew simmers, its aroma fills the room, earthy, warm, and inviting. You ladle the thick, hearty mixture into wooden bowls, steam rising in gentle wisps. Around you, your family settles near the fire, the soft sounds of eating mingling with quiet conversation. Children nibble at their bowls, their faces flushed from the cold and the warmth of the meal. Your mother hums an old tune softly, the melody weaving through the room like a gentle breeze. Outside, snowflakes drift lazily down, settling on the window ledges and wooden rooftops. The world feels still and peaceful, as if time itself has slowed to match the rhythm inside your home. After eating, you watch as the children play quietly in the corner, their laughter muted but bright. They toss small balls of snow inside, careful not to spill the precious warmth of the room. The firelight flickers over the walls, casting dancing shadows that seem to bring the stories of your ancestors to life. Around the hearth, you and your family take up quiet tasks, weaving wool, carving wood, or simply resting. The steady warmth and the soft sounds of home fill your senses, wrapping you in a sense of belonging and calm. Here, in the heart of winter, life moves slowly but surely, marked by simple comforts and the strength of those around you. After the meal, the fire continues to burn low and steady, giving the longhouse a soft golden glow. Outside, the snow falls in a quiet rhythm, softening every sound in the village. Inside, the air is still, filled only with the hush of gentle movement and quiet concentration. You take your place by the wall, pulling out a bundle of rough flax fibers. Beside you, your mother spins wool into thread, her hands practiced and slow. The spinning wheel creaks softly, a sound you've known since childhood. Across the room, your father carves a wooden spoon, his knife gliding steadily through the grain. The scent of fresh shaved wood fills the air, clean, earthy, grounding. Tiny curls of wood collect at his feet as he sharpens the handle, smoothing it with a rough stone. Outside the longhouse, the village continues its quiet labor. A neighbor repairs the thatch on his roof, his footsteps muffled by snow. Another sharpens a spearhead near the fire pit, the occasional strike of metal ringing out, then fading into silence. You glance toward the doorway where a heavy pelt hangs in place of a door. It sways gently from a small draft, letting in a moment of cold air. The contrast between the winter outside and the warmth inside is comforting, grounding. You return to your task, spinning fibers into coarse thread. The rhythm of it is soothing, like breathing: twist, pull, release. You hum a quiet tune to yourself, one that's been passed down from the elders of your clan. Time seems to stretch and blur in this quiet work. The fire crackles. The spinning wheel turns. The knife scrapes gently. No one speaks often, but there's a shared silence, a peace that only comes with familiarity. You pause for a moment to stretch your fingers. Outside, the sun begins to dip lower in the sky, casting long blue shadows across the snow. A raven calls from the trees, breaking the stillness with its solitary cry. Your little sister joins you by the hearth, working on a small weaving frame. She giggles softly as she knots the thread, her fingers clumsy but determined. You offer a quiet word of encouragement and she smiles, returning to her task with pride. As the firelight flickers across her face, you realize how much these moments matter. Not grand events, not loud triumphs, but the quiet rituals of daily life: shared labor, soft voices, steady warmth. These are the things that hold a village together. The work of many hands done with care and calm. And as the shadows grow longer, you continue, stitch by stitch, thread by thread. until the day begins to settle into dusk once more. As the afternoon deepens, the snow has quieted once again. You step outside the longhouse, bundled in your thick wool cloak, the hood pulled low over your brow. The cold bites at your cheeks, but your body is warm from the fire and the steady work of the day. You carry a small axe across your shoulder and a rope-bound bundle for gathering kindling. There is still light in the sky, though the sun hangs low, casting a silvery hue across the snow. You walk slowly through the village. The footpaths are marked by the pressed prints of boots and wooden sleds. Smoke rises from rooftops, curling into the pale blue sky, and the sound of crackling wood carries faintly from nearby homes. You follow a narrow path toward the forest's edge, where the tall pine trees stand thick and proud, their branches heavy with snow. Each step you take is muffled, the snow absorbing your footsteps like a soft blanket. At the treeline the world shifts. The wind sounds different here, filtered through needles and trunks. The trees groan gently under the weight of ice. You pause for a moment and look up. Above you the sky is pale, almost white, and between the trees only slivers of it remain. You begin collecting small fallen branches. Your axe is light but sharp, and you chip away a few frozen limbs where the wood is dry and clean. Each swing is slow, careful, not a sound of force but of rhythm. Chop, crack, pause, chop, crack. Silence again. You stack the kindling into your bundle and tie it with care. Then, for a moment, you rest your back against the trunk of a tree. You close your eyes and listen, truly listen. The forest is not silent. There is a soft creaking of branches. The crunch of snow as a distant deer moves out of sight. Somewhere, a raven caws again, a voice that seems to echo between this world and the old gods. You make your way beyond the trees, where the land slopes gently downward toward the fjord. The ice here is thick, a sheet of pale silver and blue stretching into the horizon. Closer to shore, small cracks glisten like crystal lines. You crouch beside them and run your gloved fingers along the surface, smooth, ancient, cold. A few fishing boats are tied up on the frozen bank, pulled onto the snow before the waters turn solid. Their sails are wrapped tight. Their wooden hulls creak faintly in the cold, like old bones stretching beneath the weight of memory. You look across the vast stillness. There is nothing moving now, no people, no animals, no voices. Just the wind, and the snow, and your quiet breathing. You sit down on a large rock beside the water's edge, your bundle of kindling beside you. You take a deep breath. The air smells of pine, of smoke from the village, and the faint tang of sea salt carried by memory. You think of your ancestors who sailed this fjord, of their long ships slicing through water, of their songs carried by the wind, and you wonder, just briefly, what it would be like to dream beneath the stars on an open deck. The sky begins to dim now, the colors fading into soft grays and purples. The journey back will be quiet, peaceful, and familiar. You rise slowly, stretch your legs, and begin the walk home. Your bundle of wood slung over your back. Your heart quiet. Your mind full of winter stillness. The fire crackles gently in the hearth, casting warm, flickering light along the wooden walls of the longhouse. Outside, the sky darkens into a quiet indigo, as snow continues to drift softly from the heavens. Inside, the warmth is full and comforting. You peel off your heavy outer cloak and hang it by the wall, letting the damp snow melt and fall in tiny droplets to the floor. The smells in the room are earthy and familiar, wood smoke, steaming broth, and the faint sweetness of dried herbs. The family moves slowly now, each person tending to the final tasks of the day. Your mother places dried fish and root vegetables into the large pot above the fire. It bubbles quietly, sending steam curling into the air. She hums again, softly, the same tune she always sings this time of day. Your father leans over a wooden bench, oiling a blade, his hands slow and practiced, polishing the metal until it reflects the firelight like water. The younger children sweep the floor with bundled pine branches, their little feet padding softly across the packed earth. They giggle now and then, but even their play feels quieter in the evening hours. You begin your own task, filling the water basin for hand washing, checking the animal skins hung near the door, folding woolen blankets where your siblings will soon sleep. As the room dims further, Tallow candles are lit one by one. Their flames flicker gently, glowing like little stars inside your home. The shadows grow longer. The mood shifts, not to silence, but to stillness. You step outside for a moment to gather one last bundle of firewood. The village is hushed now. Smoke rises slowly from rooftops. Footsteps have faded. Even the dogs lie quiet. Above you the sky is deep and endless. Dark blue, dotted with early stars. You breathe in the cold air one more time. It stings just slightly, then slips into your lungs like snowmelt. You return to the warmth of the longhouse. Set the wood by the hearth. Then sit down cross-legged facing the fire. Your siblings begin to gather around you. Someone wraps a fur around your shoulders. And in this small circle of flickering warmth, the world outside fades away. Evening in the village is not loud. It does not rush. It simply folds over itself, like a blanket being drawn up to the chin. You are safe. You are warm. You are home. The longhouse is quiet now. Only the soft crackling of the hearth remains. Outside, the sky is a blanket of stars. And inside, the last candle flickers low. You sit close to the fire, legs wrapped in a thick wool blanket. Around you, your family listens in silence. This is the time for stories. Old tales, passed down by firelight, told in calm voices. Not to entertain but to remember. To dream. You begin with a tale all children know. The story of Thor's hammer. Mjolnir, forged by dwarves. So powerful it could flatten mountains. So mighty it always returned to his hand. You speak slowly. Your voice low, soft, like embers glowing. Thor once lost Mjolnir. Stolen by the giants of Jotunheim. They hid it deep beneath the earth. And laughed at the gods' helplessness. But Loki, clever, sly, silver-tongued, had a plan. Thor, mighty and proud, dressed in the robes of a bride, a veil over his red beard, and went to Jotunheim to marry the giant who had stolen his hammer. The children beside you smile in the dark, knowing what comes next. At the feast, Thor said nothing, but ate an entire ox, ate salmon and drank 3 barrels of mead. Suspicious, the giant leaned in. Loki whispered, "The bride is shy. She hasn't eaten in 8 days for excitement." Finally, the giant brought out Mjolnir to bless the marriage. He placed it on the bride's lap, and with a laugh like thunder, Thor threw off the veil, took hold of his hammer, and smashed every giant in the room. The fire crackles louder now, as if remembering the blow of Mjolnir. You pause, and then slowly begin another tale. This one older, sadder. The tale of Odin's sacrifice. The All-Father, king of the gods, who gave up one eye for wisdom. And then, more than that, he hung himself from Yggdrasil, the great world tree, for 9 days and nights, pierced by his own spear, without food, without water. He did this not for power, but for understanding, to learn the runes, to see what others could not. And when the 9th day came, he fell from the tree, new knowledge burning in his heart, the secret language of the universe, written not in words, but in symbols, in silence, and sacrifice. You look around the room. The children are half asleep now. Your siblings rest against each other's shoulders. A yawn, a slow blink. Outside, the wind sighs against the wooden walls. Inside, the fire sinks lower. Red coals now. No flame, only warmth. You close your eyes and speak the final tale, barely above a whisper. A dream of Asgard, where golden halls float above the clouds, where Valkyries fly across the sky, where the mead never runs dry, and no warrior grows old. And in that place, far beyond the reach of time, beyond ice, fire, and fate, the gods still gather, still watch, still wait, and maybe, if the wind is right, and the night is cold, you can hear them, just beyond the mountains, just beyond the snow. The fire is now low, glowing softly beneath blackened logs, its warmth spreading like a whisper across the longhouse floor. The air is still, heavy with the comfort of heat, wood, smoke, and sleep. The stories are finished. The last candle has been snuffed out. And now only shadows remain, slow and gentle. One by one your family settles down. Wool blankets pulled over tired shoulders. Animal skins spread across the packed earth. Each space is known. Each movement is slow, practiced, quiet. You lie down close to the fire, your head resting on a folded cloak, the soft weight of fur drawn up around your chest. The room breathes with you. The gentle exhale of rest. The quiet creak of timber above. The occasional snap from the hearth. Outside, snow continues to fall. A light dusting now, like stardust landing softly on rooftops and fields. The village has fallen into silence. No footsteps. No voices. Only the wind gliding between the houses, and the distant rustle of trees on the hill. You close your eyes, and the quiet wraps around you like the night sky. In your mind you still see the fjord, frozen, vast, glittering beneath the stars. You remember the dark forest, the way it whispered, the way it held you. You think of the old stories, of Odin's one eye, of the hammer crashing down, of distant gods and dreamlike halls in the clouds. But now those thoughts drift too, floating gently out, like embers rising in the smoke. You are no longer listening. You are drifting, sinking, wrapped in warmth, anchored by quiet, held by the rhythm of a day well lived. Night has fallen fully now, on the land, on the village, on you, and sleep, like snow, comes softly and stays.